Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today we are diving deep into the cinematic production guide for Ella Ekundayo. We're going to unpack exactly how this epic African spiritual drama is built from the ground up. We're looking at the foundational blueprint for an 8 to 12-minute movie-style piece. This isn't just your everyday story. It's a highly calculated, absolutely stunning visual experience designed to evoke wonder, tension, and some really profound emotion. So let's jump right in and dissect the anatomy of what makes a viral-ready, Netflix-quality cinematic experience actually tick.
Where tears fall, the rooted light shall rise. Man, this quote really captures the poetic soul of the whole story, doesn't it? It sets this deeply emotional and mysterious tone right out of the gate. This single line, which is actually mandated in the production guide's narration style, tells us exactly what kind of genre we're operating in. We're dealing with an African epic and a deeply destiny-driven mystery. It instantly establishes that our protagonist's main purpose is tied to sorrow, represented by those tears, and an inevitable, powerful response, which is that rising light. It's totally designed to build a strong, instant emotional connection with you, the viewer.
Okay, Section 1, the mythos, prophecy and birth. Let's look at this first act, where the incredibly high stakes and deep lore of this destiny-driven story are firmly established. Notice how perfectly Ella's journey maps out here. It goes seamlessly from a mythical prophecy straight to her first miracle, giving the audience a clear, undeniable look at her healing powers in really rapid succession. Because think about it, when you only have 8 to 12 minutes of screen time, pacing is literally everything. The guide requires a perfectly sequenced flow. It kicks off with a mysterious prophecy about a child of light to hook you, then immediately hits you with a visually explosive, supernatural birth during a storm. After that, it grounds her character by showing these strange, beautiful childhood signs. And finally, boom, it climaxes the first act with a tangible, indisputable miracle, transforming emotional pain into actual peace. It's honestly a masterclass in escalating narrative momentum. Moving right along to Section 2, the mechanics, rules of character identity. Let's explore how this production builds the world visually, setting up strict, immersive identity rules that really ground the fantasy elements. Now, this is super interesting. The guide actually mandates embedding the name Ella on female clothing, which is exactly why you'll notice it cleverly integrated right into my own outfit as your host today, and it also dictates that Ekundayo must be embedded on all male clothing in a random symbolic way. This creates a continuous, subconscious visual theme throughout every single scene. It is such a fascinating psychological design choice. The blueprint insists these embedded names can't look forced. They have to flow completely naturally through embroidery, patterns, glowing symbols, or fabric design. By doing this, the production creates a totally subliminal, branded universe. It visually ties every single character to the destiny of Ella Ekundayo without a single word needing to be spoken. And the environment itself basically becomes a character. It utilizes nature and symbolic visuals, like these glowing roots under the soil, to make the spiritual elements feel incredibly real. The guide is super specific here. It demands an ultra-realistic 4K visual style that blends a traditional African village setting with modern elements. So we aren't just looking at standard boring scenery. The wind, the rivers, the dust particles catching the light, and those slow-motion fabric movements, they are all active participants in the storytelling. They make you feel like you're right there with them. The visual texture is completely designed to evoke this mix of sadness, hope, wonder, and tension simply through how the world is lit and framed. Section 3, the conflict, fear, and the hidden antagonist. Now that we understand the radiant light of Ella's world, we've got to examine the inevitable shadows that her extraordinary gifts draw out. So while Ella's light brings all this beautiful golden healing, peace, and the restoration of hope, a gift this powerful cannot just exist in a vacuum. It inevitably draws out community fear and hidden antagonists. People are just naturally afraid of what they don't understand, right? Even if that very thing is healing them. This fear creates a rising tension, which sets the perfect stage for ancient forces to push back against the light. It's this perfect, delicate balance between wondrous hope and deep-seated resistance. The narrative really deepens our emotional connection by showing Ella's internal struggle. She's trying to grasp her destiny alongside this external, rising threat of a mysterious observer. She isn't just some flawless superhero. She's a young girl burdened by a massive divine assignment. And as she wrestles with her purpose, we, the audience, are let in on a little secret. Someone, or something, is watching her every move from the shadows, seeking to stop or control her. This dual layer of conflict, the internal doubt mixed with the external danger, is exactly what elevates the story from a simple fairy tale to a seriously compelling, suspenseful drama.
Up next is Section 4, the transformation, Scene 8. Okay, let's dive right into the emotional core of this entire production guide, the powerful transformation scene. This right here represents the absolute emotional peak of the explainer. Notice how the dramatic golden lighting we've been building toward reaches its absolute zenith. The guide explicitly calls for a soft golden glow around Ella, and really across the whole scene during these emotional transformation moments. And it's not just an aesthetic choice, guys. It is a vital storytelling device. When that dramatic golden light floods the scene, it signifies the exact moment that emotional pain is physically and spiritually transmuted into joy. It's the huge payoff the audience has been waiting for, and it demands high-end emotional visual effects to make it truly unforgettable. To truly grasp the impact of that cinematic moment, we have to define exactly what the rooted light actually represents. We're not just talking about cool magic tricks. It's a profound, tangible restoration of hope. Her power isn't about throwing fireballs or fighting massive armies. It's an intensely intimate, spiritual power. It's a divine assignment specifically tailored to the human condition. By calling her the rooted light, the guide implies a power that is deeply connected to the earth, to history, and to the people themselves. It acts as this grounded, stabilizing force in a completely chaotic world.
All right, Section 5, the twist, an ancient dark awakening. Let's see how this sets up the final, absolutely necessary ingredient of any viral Netflix-quality episodic story, the dramatic twist. A dark twist. Something ancient begins to awaken. Just as you feel this warm sense of resolution from the healing, the guide demands a sharp pivot. It introduces an ancient force that threatens the newly established peace, because you can't let the audience get too comfortable. Right after the beautiful golden glow of that transformation scene, the blueprint instructs the creator to just pull the rug out from under the viewer. And this isn't just some local villain causing trouble, it's something ancient. This expands the entire mythology and instantly raises the stakes for everything that follows.
Now, to truly sell this twist, the audio direction has to shift violently. It moves from uplifting music to sudden, jarring silence to build maximum, breathless suspense. The production guide pays huge attention to audio. For most of the explainer, we're instructed to use emotional background music. Piano, African drums, ambient environmental sounds. But to sell this twist, the audio shift is non-negotiable. You hear the sound of thunder rolling in, the howl of the wind, and then just nothing. Complete dramatic silence. In filmmaking, silence can honestly be the loudest sound of all, and here, it signals that the world has just fundamentally changed. So, we leave you exactly where the Ella Ekundayo production guide intends to leave its audience, teasing the next chapter and questioning what dark power is rising to challenge the rooted light. The blueprint insists on ending with a strong cliffhanger, leaving viewers in absolute suspense and curiosity, completely primed for whatever comes next. By blending meticulous visual rules, deep emotional stakes, and a perfectly paced narrative structure, this guide ensures that Ella's story is simply impossible to ignore. So I have to ask, what do you think is waiting in the shadows?